Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Dimple here. Today I will discuss with you chapter number 2 part 3 Trade to Territory of class 8th. Now let's recall what all we discussed in the previous video. I have discussed with you how English East India Company began to trade, how they came to our India for a small trading purpose और कैसे वो एक बहुत बड़े रूलर्स बन गए जिन्होंने हमारी वास्ट एम्पायर को रूल करा. How they acquired more and more territories, how they became the masters of our vast empire. कैसे बने? They adopted many strategies. याद है आपको कौन कौन सी पॉलिसीज़ इन्होंने अडॉप्ट करी थी? सब्सिडरी अलायंस, दैट वाज अ वेरी कनिंग पॉलिसीज़ विच दे अडॉप्टेड. डॉक्ट्राइन ऑफ लैप्स होगा. दीज वर द पॉलिसीज़ क्लेम टू पैरामाउंसी जो हम इस चैप्टर पार्ट में पढ़ेंगे. देन मेनी battles they fought. Battle of Plassey. Do you all remember how they fought the Battle of Plassey and what strategy they adopted? They hired a puppet ruler. Yes, what was the name of that puppet ruler? Anybody can remember? Mir Jafar. ठीक है. Then बैटल ऑफ बक्सर. बैटल ऑफ बक्सर उन्होंने किसके साथ फॉट करी थी? मीर कासिम के साथ. उसके बाद उन्होंने वॉर करी विद मैसूर. देन नेक्स्ट मैसूर ऑल्सो किसके साथ थी? टीपू सुल्तान, हैदर अली. Then they fought many wars with Marathas. So this way how they annexed more and more states of our country. अब हम एक पॉलिसी डिस्कस करेंगे in this video, that is claim to paramountcy. So let's start with the remaining part of the chapter. Now we know that the company have annexed many states. From the early 19th century, East India Company, they followed an aggressive policy of territorial expansion. So what was that aggressive policy? That was the claim to paramountcy. This claim to paramountcy was under Lord Hastings. Now what do you mean by the word paramountcy? Paramountcy का अगर हम हिंदी में वर्ड करें तो उसका होता है सबसे ऊपर. तो दैट मीन्स दे थॉट दैट दे आर द सुप्रीम पावर. उन्होंने अपने आप को सुप्रीम पावर करा. बट दिस क्लेम टू पैरामाउंसी वॉज अंडर लॉर्ड हेस्टिंग्स. ये जो पिक्चर में है, ही इज़ लॉर्ड हेस्टिंग्स जिन्होंने इस पॉलिसी को डिवाइस करा था. ही वॉज द गवर्नर जनरल फ्रॉम 1813 टू 1823. अब इन्हीं से मिलता जुलता एक नाम और है, आई थिंक यू रिमेंबर और यू कैन रिकॉल कि हमने कहीं पढ़ा है, दैट इज़ वॉरेन हेस्टिंग. Warren Hastings, Lord Hastings, these two names are similar but they both are very different from each other. Lord Hastings is the Governor General from 1813 to 1823 and Warren Hastings was the first Governor General of India. Okay, what did he do? He introduced many administrative reforms. और Lord Hastings ने क्या introduce करा? Claim to paramountcy. So the Britishers expanded their rules, annexed territories till the revolt of 1857. अब जब इन्होंने पैरामाउंसी क्लेम कर ली, they have annexed many states, so they thought that they are the supreme power and their power was greater than that of many Indian rulers. So what they thought? They thought to try to annex a small state जिसको हम कहते हैं किट्टूर. दैट इज़ इन कर्नाटका टुडे. ठीक है. सो दे वांटेड टू एनेक्स द स्मॉल स्टेट किट्टूर इन कर्नाटका. बट द पीपल ऑफ किट्टूर दे गॉट एंग्री. दे चैलेंज देम. दे अपोज देम. ठीक है. सो उनमें से कौन आया उस टाइम में? द क्वीन ऑफ किट्टूर who was Rani Channamma. Rani Channamma, she was the queen of Kittur. This picture which I am showing you is of Rani Channamma. अब रानी चन्नम्मा के जैसे और भी कई फीमेल रूलर्स थे who rebelled against Britishers, who fought against Britishers. आपको कुछ do you remember? Yes, झांसी ऑफ रानी. वेरी गुड. झांसी ऑफ रानी लक्ष्मीबाई. अगर आपको कुछ और डिटेल में करना है तो मूवी थी मणिकर्णिका, उसमें आप इनका देख सकते हो हाउ शी फॉट battles with the Britisher. Then Rani Avanti Bai. She was also a very female ruler who fought against Britishers. Begum Hazrat Mahal. तो ऐसी कई female rulers थी who fought against the Britishers. So let's come back to Rani Channamma. She was the queen of Kittur. She challenged the Britishers and fought war against British. She took arms and led the anti-British resistance movement. But what happened? She was arrested in 1824 and she died in prison in 1829. But after her death, the resistance movement continued. ये नहीं कि वो stop हो गई थी. It continued by a Sangoli Rayana. Who is Sangoli Rayana? He was the poor chowkidar of Sangoli, that is a place in Kittur, and he continued this resistance after Rani Channamma. Rayana, he was a poor chowkidar of Sangoli in Kittur. He carried on the revolt. With popular support, he destroyed many British camps, many records he destroyed, he fought many wars. But in 1830, he was also hanged by the Britishers. So soon after that, slowly, soon after, what happened? The whole of the South was under the British rule. I think you have understood till here. Now let's see what happened in 1830s. In late 1830s, the English East India Company, they got worried about Russia. Russia was a very powerful kingdom at that time and it was expanding at that time. So they got fearful कि Russia might enter India and they would invade India. अब साउथ का जो होल एरिया था इंडिया का, that was under British rule. So the north part was at the risk. उनको डर था कि नॉर्थ साइड से रशिया एंटर हो जाएगा और हमारी कंट्री को, इंडिया को इन्वेड कर देगा. So the north west part was at risk and they could come and attack us from the northwest part. Why were they concerned about northwest part? क्योंकि उस टाइम में पाकिस्तान was also the part of India. तो अफगानिस्तान से वो हमारे एंटर कर सकते हैं and they can attack us. So Lord Hastings at that time, he felt that they have annexed lot of South India, but North is still at risk and Russia is gaining power. So Russia could annex North. Okay. So to annex more and more states, they claimed paramountcy, कि they are the supreme power, and they fought the prolonged war with Afghanistan. अफगानिस्तान के साथ उन्होंने prolonged war fought करी. Okay, this war was between 1838 to 1842. It is the first Anglo-Afghan war which started at 1838. Okay, now after the Sindh also was annexed during this time in 1843. So after the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, who was Maharaja Ranjit Singh? He was known as the Lion of Punjab, Sher-e-Punjab. वो फर्स्ट सिख एम्पायर का फर्स्ट रूलर था. ठीक है. सो ही आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ महाराजा रंजीत सिंह इन 1839, 2 prolonged wars were fought with Sikh kingdom. कौन सी 2 prolonged wars थी? फर्स्ट एंग्लो सिख वॉर. फर्स्ट एंग्लो सिख वॉर, इट वॉज फ्रॉम First Anglo-Sikh War. It was fought in 1845. Second Anglo-Sikh War fought in 1848. ठीक है. So these 2 wars were fought. And this second Anglo-Sikh War was the last war which was fought by the British. It was from 1848 to 1849 तक ये fought हो गई थी. और 1849 में they annexed Punjab. Okay, so Punjab was the last state which was conquered through warfare. It was the last state जो conquered हुई थी war से. I think you have understood till here. Clear? Now we will discuss doctrine of lapse. Now after the British, they introduced, after they acquired so many states, so they introduced a policy known as doctrine of lapse. It was the policy of annexation which was initiated by East India Company. It was introduced by Lord Dalhousie, who was the Governor General from 1848 to 1856. Okay, this is a picture where Lord Dalhousie is standing. So he was the Governor General from 1848 to 1856. I have explained this doctrine of lapse in my other video in detail. You can watch that video and understand from there. I will give you a brief account of doctrine of lapse in this chapter so that we can wind up the chapter fast. Doctrine of lapse is the policy. According to this policy, if any king did not have a natural successor or a heir or a male heir, then the kingdom would be taken over by the British. If a ruler died without a male heir, his kingdom would lapse. Lapse means it would become the part of the company territory. In case a ruler dies without unnatural legal male heir or successor, then his kingdom would lapse, that is, it would become the part of British company territory, and the successor could not be the adopted son of the ruler. So that is why it is called, regarded as the illegitimate by many Indians, illegal by many Indians. Now we will discuss the states which were annexed by this policies. Was the state of Satara in 1848, Jaipur in 1849, Sambhalpur 1849, Bahat, Udaipur, Jhansi, Rani of Jhansi ka जो था state, they also did not have a male heir, so their state was also annexed by the Britisher. Nagpur. Finally, they annexed in 1856, they took over Awadh. अब अवध उन्होंने एनेक्स करा और रीज़न क्या दिया उन्होंने? द रीज़न विच वॉज गिवन वाई मिस गवर्नमेंट, दैट इज दे आर नॉट मैनेज्ड वेल, सो इट शुड बी taken over by the British company. Okay, so for that, at that time, who was the Nawab of Awadh? It was Wajid Ali Shah. He was the Nawab at that time. So Awadh was annexed in 1856 and this Nawab, he was sent to Calcutta. The people of Awadh क्या हुए? वो angry हो गए, उन्होंने अपोज करना शुरू कर दिया and they joined the revolt of 1857. ओके, इसको हम और क्या कहते हैं? सीपॉय म्यूटनी और द फर्स्ट वॉर ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस. सो दिस वे हाउ दे स्टार्टेड डिस्ट्रॉइंग अस एंड एनेक्सिंग मोर एंड मोर स्टेट्स. नाउ आई विल शो यू अ मैप ऑफ इंडिया फ्रॉम 1797 कि ये जो मैप है इसमें ब्राउन पार्ट जितना है, this whole was not under the British rule. Only the part which is in yellow color, that is under the British rule. कौन से हैं वो parts? बनारस, कैलकटा, हैदराबाद, मैसूर. So these were the area जो सिर्फ ब्रिटिश रूल के अंडर थे from 1797. लेकिन till 1857 तक आप देखिए स्मॉल पार्ट वॉज द रिमेनिंग ब्राउन का, बाकी सारा येलो पार्ट है. सो येलो पार्ट कितने स्टेट्स इन लोगों ने एनेक्स कर लिए थे? नॉर्थ का एरिया भी एनेक्स हो गया, साउथ भी एनेक्स हो गया, ऑलमोस्ट सारे स्टेट्स वो एनेक्स कर चुके थे. सो दे एनेक्स ऑलमोस्ट ऑल पार्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया. अब जब उन्होंने एनेक्स करे ऑल पार्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया तो इन्होंने सोचा नाउ वी शुड सेट अप आवर ओन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. अब हम अपना खुद का एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन बनाते हैं. नाउ दे स्टार्टेड टू सेट अप अ न्यू एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. न्यू एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन सेटअप स्टार्ट हुआ. दैट वाज द न्यू स्टेप टू रूल आवर कंट्री. By 1773 to 1785, कंपनी ने एक्वायर कर लिया था बंगाल, बॉम्बे एंड मद्रास। नाउ अब जैसे हमारा इंडिया है, इंडिया में इतने सारे स्टेट्स हैं, कितने स्टेट्स हैं? कुड एनीबडी टेल मी हाउ मेनी स्टेट्स वी हैव? नो, नॉट 29, 28 स्टेट्स हैं इंडिया में। जम्मू एंड कश्मीर इज़ नॉट अ स्टेट नाउ, इट हैज़ बिकम अ यूनियन टेरिटरी। सो इसी तरीके से अब ब्रिटिश टेरिटरी ने बहुत सारे स्टेट्स एक्वायर कर लिए थे ब्रिटिश कंपनी ने, तो उन्होंने सोचा कि अब हम अपने इस एक्सपैंडिंग उसको डिवाइड कर देते हैं 3 प्रेसिडेंसीज में। हाउ मेनी प्रेसिडेंसीज? 3 प्रेसिडेंसीज। What was those 3 presidencies? Bengal, Madras and Bombay. Okay. Now these 3 were also ruled by governor. इनके ऊपर भी they were also headed by governor general. Okay. इनके ऊपर भी एक गवर्नर जनरल था. So this way they started their administration. Now who was the first Governor General at that time? Warren Hastings. From 1773 to 1785. Okay. Now I have told you, पहले भी बताया, he introduced many reforms. उन्होंने कई judicial reforms बनाए. अब उन्होंने जो रिफॉर्म्स बनाए, दैट वाज द जुडिशियल सिस्टम एंड आर्मी भी बनाई। ओके, अब जुडिशियल सिस्टम का जो हेड था दैट वाज डिस्ट्रिक्ट। जो मेन यूनिट था जुडिशियल सिस्टम का दैट वाज डिस्ट्रिक्ट। डिस्ट्रिक्ट के अंडर में 2 कोर्ट्स थे, क्रिमिनल कोर्ट एंड सिविल कोर्ट। ओके, ना क्रिमिनल कोर्ट को हम क्या कहते हैं? फौजदारी अदालत। एंड सिविल कोर्ट को क्या कहते हैं? दीवानी कोर्ट। क्रिमिनल कोर्ट जो है क्राइम इन सब पे डील करता था। सिविल कोर्ट जो है मनी प्रॉब्लम्स, टैक्सेस प्रॉब्लम, प्रॉपर्टी प्रॉब्लम्स, इन सब को डील करता था। दिस इज नोन एज फौजदारी अदालत। सिविल कोर्ट्स वर नोन एज दीवानी कोर्ट। ठीक है। नाउ दे वर लुक्ड आफ्टर काजी, मुफ्तीज। इनके ऊपर कौन था? कलेक्टर। ओके, एंड दे वर पंडित्स, मौलवीज। ओके, ये लोग क्या करते थे? व्हाट वाज द वर्क ऑफ पंडित्स एंड मौलवीज? दे इंटरप्रेट इंडियन लॉज फॉर यूरोपियंस। Understood till here? Judicial system, कि their country was divided. Now they got divided because they annexed so many states into 3 presidencies: Bengal, Madras, Bombay. They were governed by गवर्नर। गवर्नर के ऊपर भी एक गवर्नर जनरल था जिन्होंने इनको हेडेड करता था। वॉरेन हेस्टिंग, ही वॉज द गवर्नर जनरल एट दैट टाइम फ्रॉम 1773 to 1785. He introduced many reforms, judicial system, army. Judicial system का जो main unit था that was district. Under district there were 2 courts, criminal court and civil court. Criminal court was known as फौजदारी अदालत, civil court is दीवानी court. फौजदारी अदालत के अंडर में काजीज एंड मुफ्तीज एंड दीवानी courts were there for पंडित्स and मौलवीज. They all were headed by collectors. पंडित्स एंड मौलवीज का क्या काम होता था? They used to interpret Indian laws for the European judges. Okay, I've explained you. Now the major problem that arise कि जो laws थे they were based on धर्म शास्त्रा. What was that? धर्मशास्त्र. आज हमारे laws, fundamental rights, rules किस में होते हैं? Constitution में. At that time it was based on धर्मशास्त्र. Dharmashastra was interpreted by Brahmin Pandits. Now they have so many different Pandits. अब different Pandits अपने different interpretations बता रहे थे. So this created problem for the Britishers. Okay, so it was a major problem for the Britishers कि different interpretations थी of local laws which was based on Dharma Shastra. Now to bring यूनिफॉर्मिटी इन 1775 में 11 पंडित्स थे, उन्होंने बनाए आस्क्ड टू कंपाइल लॉज, टू कंपाइल दीज हिंदू लॉज. ठीक है, दे आस्क्ड इन 1778 में. अब मुस्लिम्स के लिए भी कुछ कोड लाना था. सो कोड ऑफ मुस्लिम लॉ वॉज ऑल्सो कंपाइल्ड फॉर द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ द यूरोपियन जजेस के लिए कि उनको प्रॉपरली सबके लॉज समझ आ जाए. नाउ दिस डाइजेस्ट, व्हाट वाज दैट डाइजेस्ट? द डाइजेस्ट विच वाज मेड बाय दीज 11 पंडित्स, दैट वाज ट्रांसलेटेड बाय N.B. Halhed. N.B. Halhed, which was translated into English. Okay, so this digest which was compiled by 11 pandits was translated by N.B. Halhed into English language. Under the Regulating Act of 1773, a new Supreme Court was also established. और क्या था? Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal was known as सरदार निजामत अदालत. ये कहाँ थी? कैलकटा में. It was in Calcutta. Understood? Now the new system of justice was invented. And this, इसका important unit क्या था? District. इसका important unit था, important figure जो था इसका था district. District was under the supervision of collector. Okay? Supervision of collector. Collector का काम क्या होता था? What was the main job of collector? To collect revenue, to collect taxes, maintain law and order in the district. अब वो अकेले तो ये सब चीज़ें नहीं कर सकता था कि वो एक एक को देखने जाएगा कहाँ लॉ एंड ऑर्डर. सो ही टुक द हेल्प ऑफ जजेस, पुलिस ऑफिसर, दरोगास टू मेंटेन दिस लॉज इन द डिस्ट्रिक्ट. नाउ जो ऑफिस था कलेक्टर का, ही वॉज द कलेक्टर वॉज नाउ द न्यू सेंटर पावर. ही वॉज नाउ द न्यू सेंटर पावर एंड ही रिप्लेस्ड ऑल अदर पावरफुल अथॉरिटीज़. जो पहले के रूलर्स की पावरफुल अथॉरिटीज़ थी, दैट वर नाउ रिप्लेस्ड बाय हिम. द ऑफिस ऑफ कलेक्टर वॉज known as collectorate and it became the new center of power. I think you all have understood till here. So now they set up a judicial system. Now they are going to set up an army. Company's army. Britishers till now they have established their roots in our country. Now they brought changes in administration. They established courts, districts, civil courts, criminal courts. Now they also started to establish army. Change in the field of army. Army की field में now they started bringing changes. The British brought strength in their armies. Now we all know that before Britishers, who were the rulers? Mughals were the rulers. So Mughal army was composed of cavalry. Cavalry से composed थे. Cavalry कौन थे? Sawars, with the soldiers which were on the horse back. Okay. और दूसरे कौन थे? Infantries. Infantry मतलब बच्चे वाले soldiers नहीं, पैदल soldiers जो पैदल चलते थे. They walk on foot. Okay. So two types of इनके आर्मी थी. They were given training in archery and use of sword. Now in Mughal period, cavalry used to be very strong and it used to dominate the infantry army. infantry army was not given much of importance. But changes occurred in 18th century. जब Britishers were expanding, the changes came. Now what happened? What the changes occurred? In 18th century, when the Mughal successor, states like Awadh and Banaras, they started recruiting peasants into armies and training them as professional soldiers. What happened कि मुगल सक्सेसर्स जो थे लाइक अवध एंड बनारस ये ट्रेन करना शुरू कर दिया इन्फेंट्री सोल्जर्स को. ओके, कैवलरीज को पीछे छोड़ा और इन्फेंट्री सोल्जर्स को दे स्टार्टेड ट्रेनिंग. दिस वॉज द टाइम when the power was shifting from Indian soldiers to Britishers. Okay, British adopted, they also adopted this method. They focused on infantry, they also focused on infantry. The English East India Company adopted the same method when it began recruitment of its own army, which came to be known as Sepoy Army. Okay, now in early 19th century, so they also made Sepoy Army. Cavalry soldiers अब क्या बन गए थे? कैवलरी सोल्जर्स और दो टाइप्स ऑफ कौन से थे? इन्फेंट्री सोल्जर्स. दो टाइप ऑफ आर्मीज थी. ठीक है. नाउ दिस कैवलरी सोल्जर्स बिकेम ट्रांसफर टू इन्फेंट्री सोल्जर्स. अब वॉरफेयर टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज्ड इन 1820s. नाउ इन 1820s दिस वॉरफेयर टेक्नोलॉजी स्टार्टेड टू चेंज. In this way, cavalry requirement of the company declined. Cavalry requirement company की धीरे धीरे कम होती गई. Why it declined? Because the soldiers started fighting with guns. उन्होंने देखा जब British soldiers they were fighting in Burma, Afghanistan, Egypt. यहाँ पर जब वो फाइट कर रहे थे तो soldiers were armed with muskets and matchlocks. Okay, they were armed with muskets and matchlocks. Muskets are the guns, powerful guns, and the matchlocks are the powder which is filled in the guns. So to keep pace with the changing military requirement in 1820, more focus किसके ऊपर डाला गया? Infantry soldiers पर than on cavalries. This was how the army changed. Okay. Now another change which came in the early 19th century was that the company army wanted to bring uniformity in their army. They wanted to develop a uniform military culture. What do you mean by uniform military culture? Means a discipline, to maintain discipline in the soldiers. Same type of uniform they should wear, they should be in time, they should be trained with the same exercises. So these type of training should be followed to bring uniformity. But this also created problems. How it created problems? In caste system. Caste system में community की feelings जो थी that were being hurted, क्योंकि कई हिंदूज थे वो objection उठाते थे. This example you can get by reading मंगल पांडे. मंगल पांडे में यही प्रॉब्लम हुई थी कि जो हिंदू रिलीजन थे दे रिफ्यूज टू ओपन दैट राइफल बिकॉज दे बिलीव कि उसमें गन पाउडर जो है वो काउ स्किन से डला हुआ है. सो दे रिफ्यूज. सो इससे क्या था कि जो हिंदूज वर गेटिंग they were making objections. उनकी feelings were hurt. So caste and community feelings were ignored in building a force of professional soldiers. So difference in caste and religious feeling, they led to also the revolt of 1857. I think you have understood till here. Now I will give you a short look on the slave trade in South Africa, कि how the slave trade came into existence. Slaves were there. Dutch started this slave trade in 17th century. People were captured. They were sold in the slave markets. You can see in this picture. This ended in 1834. and there were how many 36,774 privately owned slaves were there in the southernmost tip of Africa, Cape Town. Okay, and ये एक स्लेव सोसाइटी बन गई थी. ठीक है, दिस केप बिकेम अ स्लेव सोसाइटी वेयर मैनी पीपल वर वर्किंग एज स्लेव्स. नाउ देयर वर फ्यू स्लेव्स विच हैव बीन फ्रीड, लेकिन उनको हम क्या कहते थे? फ्री ब्लैक्स. These free blacks managed to acquire slaves of their own, but these slave owners were tiny minority of the slave owning population. Okay? Now let's summarize this chapter. I think you have understood till here. We will move on to the conclusion. What all we have studied in this chapter. Now the English East India Company, it was transformed from a trading company to a territorial colonial power. ये आपको पता है कैसे वो एक छोटी ट्रेडिंग कंपनी बनकर आए थे इंडिया में, and how they annexed so many states and became the supreme power of our country. Then next was the arrival of new steam technology, and that was in early 19th century. न्यू स्टीम टेक्नोलॉजी में हम स्टीम शिप्स इंट्रोड्यूस करे थे, एंड व्हाट वाज द बेनिफिट ऑफ दैट? इट रिड्यूस द जर्नी टाइम. जो हम ट्रैवलिंग करते थे इंडिया में थ्रू सी रूट, इट वाज फ्रॉम 6 to 8 months, एंड इट हैज़ रिड्यूस्ड टू 3 weeks if we travel through these steamships. By 1857, the company came to exercise direct rule over about 63%. पहले ये indirectly rule कर रहे थे हमारे country को. Now they have brought a direct rule over 63% of the territory and 73% of the population of Indian subcontinent. East India Company had virtually controlled over whole part of our country. So this was how they controlled our almost whole part of our country. I think you have understood till here in this chapter. I will wind off the chapter here only. Thank you students for your attention today in my this video. I would be happy to help you in my upcoming videos. Please click the like button and thank you all.